Hi, beautiful souls. I'm so happy that we are connecting today again. Welcome to another recording of the Divine Feminine Ascension Council. I'm Bianca, for those who haven't been with us so far, and I'm here with my amazing friend, Wendy Lou. Yay! Hello, Wendy. And today we are talking about collaborations, because what's coming up for both of us is that we're getting out of the energy of wanting to lone wolf everything, wanting to create just by ourselves, and we're wanting to collaborate to create communities. We want to really bring people that are on ascension path, right? Doesn't matter where on the ascension or awakening path, together. And we want to build this global community of leaders, teachers, even other professions, right? Like all professions. We're just really feeling
change makers, I feel like, is who we want to, bring the change makers together. Definitely.
Yeah, absolutely.
Everyone is kind of feeling that energy of, and I think we've been feeling it for a while, since since the world has kind of been in a weird place and we've been, prevented from going out in the physical and making connections. We've had this longing to get back out there and do that again. But now it's like one of the positives, I feel like, of all of this stuff that's been going on is we've done so much healing. We've kind of been pushed and almost forced to do this healing because we had all this, and maybe not across the board, but for a lot of us, we had a lot more downtime and a lot more time in our own heads, in our own energies. And we were kind of pushed to do all this healing. And now we're feeling that need for connection on a deeper soul level versus just, before maybe we would go out with friends and it feeds the ego and, you tell each other how good you look and that kind of thing. And it's pleasantries and it's politeness and it's this kind of surface conversation and it's kind of surface connection. And now we're seeing that what we really want are these deep, deep soul connections. And, we're not just talking about romantic. In fact, romantic is like at the bottom of the list right now, I feel like. People are really seeking out soul family and like-minded groups. And, we're utilizing a lot the internet because it's still hard to meet in the physical, but we are, I think both of us can agree on that. We are seeing an end to that. We are seeing that coming to an end very soon, if not this year, early 2022. I don't see it going much past that. We're not going to be celebrating next Lionsgate sequestered in our homes, I don't think. And so, it may feel like a long time, but, it's going to go fast and then we're going to be able to really be out there.
The energy of coming together, it really feels like this is helping to shift the whole pandemic as well, because even though we're not connecting in the physical, right, we know that we're all these energy dots. And by tuning into each other's fields, right, we're almost creating lines of light between each other, right? So we're always creating those pathways of light that are kind of surrounding the earth. And this is making it obviously easier for people to shift and to awaken.
That's true.
And we're really called to just be with each other, to have less of the superficial, how are you, what's going on in your life, and just sitting down and being in each other's energy.
Right. And being raw and vulnerable, in a new, I think we've all reached kind of a new level of that, of feeling just really stripped naked, right? Like just really stripped down. We've never been lighter. We've never been this, exposed because we've had so much stuff piled on top of us. And it's a good thing. It's a good thing. We just have to integrate when we're feeling that raw, naked, vulnerable, it's important to seek out other people who are kind of going through the same thing. And I think we're drawn to them when they're, you're drawn to people who are aligned with you because you can, that helps, I think, because what's really going on is you're integrating that new energy that you're feeling, that new, yes, it's a raw, vulnerable feeling, but it's also freeing. It's also this kind of freedom because you feel light. You almost feel, a lot of times we can release big chunks of things, right? And we feel so light, like we're going to float away. And so the connection is going to keep you here. It's going to keep you focused, keep you, bring clarity, keep you grounded. And so, and I think we're all, you may not know why you're feeling that need to connect, but it's different for everybody. I think the main reason, but it's so many things going on right now that are facilitating us being pulled to each other. And, even in the physical, it's in a lot of places you can now gather in the physical, and we don't judge. Be comfortable, have peace of mind. Don't do something that is going to make you not appreciate the time, like just because of some 3D shit going on, right? Like, wear a mask. We don't, whatever makes you most comfortable, but try to get out if you're, if you can, in the physical, as much as you can, because for me, my love language is touch. And so this last year and a half has been really, really a challenge. And of course, I have 5 other people in my house, but when you touch the same 5 people every day, you just long for friendship and just to hug certain people that I haven't seen in so long. And so I know how challenging it's been, but we can get out there now. And if you have other people who are like-minded, then you find a way to come together. And again, we were talking about this before we hit record too, is we're utilizing the internet. Take advantage of it. It's ours to use. We have already, I feel like the light has taken it over and we've already hijacked it for good. Utilize it, but we are getting that stronger and stronger need to be in the physical together.
Yeah. And also what we talked about already before briefly is that both of us feel that a lot of other people who are not aligning anymore are dropping out, and also that we're actually asked to ask them to leave or to leave ourselves, right?
Have the hard conversation.
Yeah, exactly. And spend less time with those people. I mean, it will automatically happen, right? And the more we cling on to those people, the more we lower our own energy, because we are feeding each other's energies at all times. So if we're coming together in a high vibrational energy, then we're going to lift each other up. And if I'm surrounding myself just because I don't want to hurt other people or I don't want to leave them alone, surround myself with people who are lowering my energy, I'm not doing anyone a favor, because then I may have this lower energy and I go and I speak to someone else and then I'm carrying it forward. Right? So those people who are still sitting in a lower vibration, we kind of really need to have them sitting there. And also because what I'm feeling right now is, by us being so much around them, they are not working through their stuff because they're getting the higher vibrational vibes that they're seeking from us.
Right.
So without wanting to and without knowing to, we're actually helping, like assisting them to be energy vampires. And they probably don't even want to be that. It's just by us
it's not a conscious level most of the time.
Vibration.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And if you feel like you're like dragging someone, you know what I mean? Like if they, to put it very bluntly, if you feel like somebody in your circle is dead weight and they're not doing the work, but you like them, you like them being around, and you feel responsible for them. That's kind of I think that's kind of where the discernment comes in. Okay, are you feeling aligned, or do you feel responsible for their journey? And so you have to let go of responsibility of everybody's journey but your own, and then look at, okay, who's really aligned? And if they, even if it's going to be something, that maybe will change their life, right? Like if you say, okay, we're not aligned anymore. I don't want to collaborate with you in this particular project, or I don't want to be in this group with you or whatever anymore. And, even if it means their life is drastically changed and possibly, it looks negative, right? That's not your responsibility. You don't have to keep pulling them along to your detriment, because eventually when it does break, then they'll have all of this stuff that they've been trying to, avoid, ignore, give to you. It's going to snap back at them really abruptly. And it's going to be a much harder process for them to move through it versus, letting them go now more gently and allowing them to work. People have got to work through their own shit, you guys. We have to stop trying to do.
And they need the mirrors that are aligned to them as well, right? So they actually, it would be of service to them to be in the space with people who have their own vibrational frequencies, or who are a match, right? So that they can experience the full effect of their own vibration mirrored to them, back to them by another person that is in that frequency. instead of us maybe not mirroring at all, because probably we've worked through that stuff already, right? And they're not going into that growth experience. You know that a growth point is in many times also a pain point. And by us wanting to protect them from that pain, we're actually not assisting their soul growth. We're just reliving our own traumatic experiences of being scared of hurting others, right? We're coming out of the program not wanting to hurt them, but we're also not serving them.
Right. And chances are the sense of responsibility for them is coming largely from them. It's not even your energy. It's them needing you to take care of them, right? And so when you can see that with discernment and with compassion, you can, it's just not our, I don't know how many times we have to say it, but I feel like even I need to be reminded of it. It's not your job to do everybody else's work for them. And so if they're, and they're, that's what I was going to say. And we are too, the reason they're hanging around is yes, they're feeding off of our energy, and that's providing a cushion for them. We're cushioning their journey for them. We're cushioning the pain that they need to move through. Yeah, they need to feel it. And so if we, as much as you can, let go of responsibility for other people's journeys and really see, because if you're holding on to these people who are not doing any of their own work and are just hanging around because you feel good, right? And that, and again, that actually kind of makes me think of the twin flame thing, but that's a whole nother video. They climb into your energy because you feel good, and that's just pulling you down. Then you are going to feel stuck and you're not going to be able to move forward. And the minute you can cut that cord, and a lot of times it takes to, yes, have the conversation and make the and disconnect, but then you want to go in and make sure that you're cutting cords energetically too with them, because that's going to help them too, not just you. It's not, we're not talking about a selfish act. We're talking about really looking at the bigger picture of what they need to go through. Their guides are telling them, you need to feel this pain. And they're saying, nope. I got Bianca. I'll just hang out with Bianca and I don't have to feel it because she feels so good all the time. And she'll pull me through. She'll push the grocery cart, but it's not good for either one of you.
Absolutely. And with the energies that we're entering in the Lion's Gate, what I see is kind of like that we're forming, it's like patches or islands or gridworks of same vibrational people, right? It's like this magnetic pull of the frequencies to find each other and to come together. And this is also for learning and for growth, right? And when those other people are ready, then they can find us, right? And they will be able, we're not telling them, don't ever come back. We're just letting them know that their behavior and their vibration is not serving us right now in a loving way, right? And then this probably pushes them to look in that direction, because maybe nobody else ever has told them.
Right.
Because some people just tend to not want to go there because they're scared of losing them, hurting them, whatnot, right? So we got to look at our own stuff going on there around hurting people, letting people go, being alone, and all those things that are also being triggered within us.
Abandoning,
right?
I feel like we're abandoning them, right? The abandonment goes both ways. You can have abandonment
that's
issues.
A big one.
Yeah, abandonment issues can also mean you're afraid of abandoning somebody. And you have to look at the whatever you're doing together too. Like, what is the joint venture? What is the joint mission? If that is suffering, if you feel like that is stagnant or it cannot move forward, and you know why, right? Then you either have the conversation in the most gentle, loving way you can, or like Bianca said, it's going to be forced apart, and that's going to be more traumatic for both sides. And so it's about the awareness comes, and for a lot of people, I feel like that one person that's not matching the vibration on some level, they know that they're we have a military term, they know that they're the LIMFAC, right? The limiting faculty. They know that they're the limitation. They're keeping the venture, the mission, the project from really taking off the way it could. And again, like you said, it doesn't mean that they can't be part of it, but they may need to take a sabbatical. They may need to step back for a while and do some healing. And then they'll know, they'll either come back or they won't. I talk a lot with my clients, I know you do too, about, that actually, that old saying, if you love something, set it free. And if it's meant for you, it'll come back. It's been around forever, and it is true. And yet we have never really truly believed it or integrated it in our energy. We still hold on to people for dear life out of fear.
We like to control our journey.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
We
And
don't actually trust self-trust or the trust in our soul. We don't actually trust ourselves that we have this inner compass and inner guiding that always shows us the way. It's just going to show us baby steps, right? It's always the next step, the next step. So we're not trusting that inner compass or guidance, right? Because in my experience, when we are out there, in the world of the living, and we're, having conversations and having connections, we tended to wanting to make other people happy, or this is what we should do in society. So we're de-learning, or not actually learning from the beginning how to rely and trust on that inner compass, because we're not saying what we're feeling. We're just saying what society wants us to say, or what not, right? So now we're starting to rebuild the trust in our inner guidance. And of course, this will be showing up with connections and relationships. And the more we start to trust the inner compass, and we know if a connection is not right at the moment, we can let it go. Because as you say, it may come back if the contracts are there, if we still are aligned, or if we're aligning in the future. And yet we're so scared that we're failing or doing something wrong, or that we're losing complete control and we're going nuts. And then people have to, put us in a cell and capture us or whatnot, we tend to go into all this road and journey. Instead of just tuning in and saying it's okay, and there is a compass and it's okay. Yeah. And we'll get there.
And it's okay to feel, and even when you are able to have the conversations and let people go, allow yourself to grieve for that. Like, we know, then we say, oh, well, if I was ready, I wouldn't feel bad about it. Of course you're going to feel bad about it. You're a human being. You're an empath. You have compassion, right? And so allow yourself to process that too, because that's part of you healing and you becoming more sovereign. I think a lot of times we misinterpret too when we say service to others. Like you were saying, we think that means doing everything for everybody else. And it's really the kind of the exact opposite, because what we're doing is we're doing so much inner work and self-care that we are more living by example in the service to others. Yes, we're going to be reaching out and actually, and we are already, right? We're helping people directly, not just by living by example. We are reaching out and actually doing things too. Like Bianca and I both have, we're both healing practitioners. And so we are reaching out to clients and doing it, one-on-one, and doing hopefully beginning to do groups and that kind of thing. We're branching out. But for the most part, it's really just living by example and having people look at you and go, I want to feel like you, like I feel your energy. I want that. How do I get that? Well, you do what I did, right? But in your own way, you follow your own journey. You don't hook on to my energy and try to, fly through on my coattails. You have to do your own work. And so when we feel the weight, we're going to, so if you're listening and you kind of you're one of those people who maybe you've been cut off or dropped. I hate to use such harsh terms, but yeah, you feel like you've been abandoned. Really take a look at, on some level that you were not matching the vibration, and they knew too. And I'm speaking from experience because I've had a couple times when I was working through the toughest parts of my journey, I actually had a gal call me and say, my guides are telling me not to work with you anymore, because I was dragging her down. And so we're going to be on both sides of it through this journey. And it happened more than once with me. And it was a very dramatic traumatic and drastic kind of thing, that like it was, for me, it felt sudden. But then when I grieved and when I worked through the process of the emotions of the healing, I realized now, months later, I realized now that we were not aligned. And I was trying to hold on to their energy because they were what I perceived as ahead of me on the journey, right? They were just on their own journey. We have to each stay on our own. You can't get off of your path, right? And we try to like lasso, we try to lasso somebody else and get pulled, but ultimately you're going to have to do your own work. And the longer you put that off, the more challenging it's going to be. Because like I said, it's going to snap back like a rubber band. And then you're going to be slapped in the face with it. And it's going to be harder. Not that you can't do it. Not that we don't sometimes choose that. But when you come into the awareness of, am I choosing this over and over and over again? And how can I choose something different? Find your own soul group. And yes, it's hard for us sometimes when it's people who've been part of our lives for a long time, or they're just very powerful energies in our lives and we don't want to lose them. Yes, it's hard. But we have to look at the bigger picture of what's best for both sides and what's best for whatever, we talk about the collaborating too, whatever's best for this beautiful vision you may have, and it's possible that you both need to go your own ways, your own separate ways, and create your own. And then maybe down the road, it'll come together in some way. Maybe it won't. So
yeah, we will see a lot of that shifting as well. I know you're experiencing as well, Wendy, in the businesses. So, collaborations may only last for about a month and you'll do some part together and then one person may go and another person will come. So this fluidity and flexibility that we will see in friendships, we will also see in businesses. So businesses will not be like the war in the past, where you have a core team and this core team is going to be there for such a long time and maybe until they go and retire. It's going to be much more flexible because people will come, they will provide what they want, what they wish, what they can, and then they will move on. And so will you, right? So we will see a lot more shifting in businesses, even in regular employment.
Right.
Yeah. And we got to be okay with that. We got to be okay with the shifting.
Yes. That's the important thing is allowing yourself to grieve for it, but then just getting to a place of, okay, this is riding the waves. Like, this is what it's about, right? Is allowing, surrendering, knowing that the universe is conspiring for us, that we're headed toward a beautiful place if we would just let them show us, right? But we resist every step of the way, and it's like I just got a visual. It's like a child being pulled and they think they're being forced to go to the dentist or something, but parents are only taking them into a candy store or something, but they're resisting because they think it's the dentist. No, it's the candy store. I promise. Like, yes, we maybe have to work through a lot of stuff, but we're resisting being taken to the new earth, right? The nirvana, the 5D and above energies, because it's so different. And
we are trying to bring the old, right? Because we don't know what is going to be there in 5D. And we got to learn how to let go of that control, right? And I feel that same frequency collaborations are going to help us with that as well. Because then we will see that what we're creating there in the collaboration could also happen globally. And I don't mean in terms of the particular systems, I just mean in terms of the feeling that we have when we're around each other.
Yeah.
And then everything else is going to come after that feeling that we discover how we can be with each other in this new 5D way. And then we will go and we will create the systems that are going to be in place in 5D. Then we come together in those same frequency collaborations. We will get that feeling, we will get the assurance that even though we may not know how exactly it's going to look like, that there's the feeling of it's going to be okay and the feeling of knowingness.
Absolutely. And if you think about, like, right now, everybody just think about the government and whatever country you're in, the government, the way it is, doesn't that feel like an old, dying, decaying system? I don't even feel connected. I never really have felt connected to the governmental system. I've never.
And we're purging the narcissistic energies that is happening in those political systems, that has to go. There's no way of
they cannot exist in this new earth that we're creating. They just can't. They're going to
they're coming together as well. It's just that they're coming together in politics, which is sadly, you know, also the people that are telling us what needs to happen and what is going on, right?
Right.
So we need to be really mindful that those energies are also starting to collaborate, right? It's not only us, it's those energies as well, right?
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. But more and more people are, you know, a lot of people too are shifting from those groups to their own new groups. And so the old energy groups are getting smaller and smaller and smaller. Exactly. And I do see people having to stay in 3D a little while longer. Yes, we're not going to, you know, we talk about this, I think, in every video. We're not going to leave anybody behind, but this is a process. You know, we have a long time before we're one with source again, before we've, you know, moved through all of the densities. And that's a good thing. We're going to have a lot of adventures and a lot of really amazing journeys. You know, as souls on our soul growth path before we totally are one with source again. But, you know, people are always saying, oh, well, nobody's getting left behind. Well, you know what? That's part of the feeling responsible for everybody else. If you live in kind of that heavy aspect of that statement, then you're going to keep yourself from moving forward until people catch up to you. And that's not the point of this. That is not service to others, you guys. That is detriment to yourself, to your own journey, and you're not going to be able to shine your light, and you're going to get clouded and kind of get trapped there for a while. Now, it's not, you know, it wouldn't be forever, obviously, because the energies won't allow it. I always tell people, you can curl up in the fetal position on the ground and you are still going to get there. It's going to hurt. It's going to hurt a lot more, but you will get there, because we're not, you know, no one is getting kicked out of the matrix. It's, you know, we're all doing this together, but it's a process. And so there are people who they're not done with 3D. And there are people who will need to continue, and we have to let go of those people and let them do that. Their soul needs it. So, and it's one of those things that it's very hard, especially, you know, I have friends, you know, well, they're like, well, with my adult, if you have adult children, you as a mom, you still have to let them go. You still have to let them go and let them do what they need to do. And focus on your mission. You know, it's a lot about, like you said, it really goes back to trust. This whole journey is about learning to trust again. You know, we've been living in fear for so long that, but that comes too with, like, I feel like you can't necessarily, I mean, you can, but you can't necessarily like focus on, okay, I'm going to trust more today. What you do is you heal. Ask to see, okay, what layer can I heal today? And the trust is a byproduct. Because what we're doing is we're uncovering that trust. We're pulling all the blankets and the coats and the heaviness off of it. And that diamond is underneath, you know, and that's where we'll have that unconditional trust and we'll feel it again. It's just got so much on top of it right now. It's hard to feel it sometimes.
Yeah, absolutely. And as you said, we will uncover it more and more. So it's okay when you have days where you're definitely in the chaos and you're not feeling it at all. Right. That is okay. It doesn't mean you're falling back on your journey, right? It just means that you've uncovered another layer and you're going with that layer, and we're coming back to that. And every time when you make a choice out of love and not out of fear. And this is already going to move you forward.
Yes. Yeah. And, you know, it's like, I often do the visualization, and I do it a lot when I'm out on my walks, because that's kind of usually my only solitude is walking by the river. And I'll do a visualization, which is a really super quick, easy way to kind of shed layers, or to begin to shed layers, is visualize that you're like, it's 90 degrees here. So I'll visualize that I'm wearing a fur coat, and that I slowly unzip it, and I'll do it while I'm walking. I slowly unzip it and I take it off and I let it fall to the path. And then I keep walking and I visualize it behind me. I visualize Gaia literally like pulling it down under into the earth. Like she's taking this, and Gaia loves the stuff that we shed. She's trying to help us shed all this stuff, because she takes that raw material and transforms it into new life. And so I even sometimes will visualize, I don't look back, Don't look back, but just keep walking, and you're visualizing in your mind's eye, right? That it's being pulled down in. And I always visualize it's like glowing under the ground, and then flowers will grow on that spot. So you have shed that coat and it cannot come back. But what we do then is then we feel cold, right? Like the integration period is like, oh, but I want that coat back because now I feel cold. And what you have to realize is that you are warm. That coat was never meant to be, to stay, you were not meant to wear it forever, and that it was time for you to shed it. And so, but allow yourself to feel, that chill, and process whatever emotions, because every level you're going to grieve. And especially when it's people that you're shedding.
Yep.
Because that's it's another aspect of you, right? We're only aspects of each other. And so it's an aspect of you that you may feel like you're, pushing away, but and so you need to process that. But the discernment is huge. Discernment and trust, like you were saying earlier too, trust in your own intuition. You're going to feel when someone is not aligned. And again, whether it's friendship or a business project or both, we're coming together with soul family in businesses right now. But soul family, when when you zoom out far enough, we're all soul family, right? And you can feel very aligned with someone for a little while and then not anymore. One day you wake up and you're like, wow, I'm not aligned. And now, I wouldn't say, react, don't knee-jerk react, because sometimes we go through days where we don't feel aligned, and then the next day you're aligned again. Everybody's got their own stuff they're working through, and people pull back, they pull their energy back when they're working on it. But for the most part, it's you'll know if it's been a while and you're still not aligned, then it might be time to really have that conversation. And again, you can let it go and not have the conversation, and the universe will do it for you. But that's just, if you feel, I think we feel called. We know when it's up to us to have that conversation. And sometimes we know when to just let the universe do it too. I always ask for, the easiest for everybody involved, and everybody's not easiest. We don't necessarily want to say easiest. We want to say in everybody's highest good, because sometimes we need to feel that pain.
Yeah.
So
I agree with you. And I feel this is beautiful, coming full circle again, obviously, right, in our conversation around collaboration and connection. And I'm so excited to see a lot more of us coming together, collaborating, being in each other's energies. And yeah, with that, we want to invite you to obviously connect with each one of us as well. If you feel called, just drop us a comment or send us an email, send us a message.
Our information is in the description box, everything you need.
Absolutely. And we will see, how we can connect and how we can assist each other. And let's just build this beautiful community of light beings on this planet.
Yes.
And we will see you guys next time.
Thank you.
Love you. Bye.
Bye.